Morning, Hanuman. As one whose function is to ring the bell, calling people to Satsang here, I've noticed the ask not for whom the bell tolls question coming up quite a bit. And I'm feeling, a certain sense of urgency. And I'm hearing the call to Satsang and everything that's impermanent. And the response to that is, in part, wanting to marshal energies to do something. But I know that, that's just kind of a knee-jerk response to do something, and it's just part of the tendency to want to succeed rather than fail, still in duality. So I still, though, feel some confusion about how to deal with that. And
to deal with
the sense of urgency
regarding
responding to the call to Satsang.
We'll come to Satsang. What else? No, really. What does that mean, though? For ultimately, it's not a question of satsang being limited to the formal gathering called satsang with so-and-so. So the urgent call is to return to the higher ground, if you will, to the big view, purely directly. To come to rest, be at ease, relax, be quiet, fall into the heart. Die into the heart. If urgency goes on too long, it's not urgency at all, it's just postponement. Don't be fooled. If urgency is real urgency, it will flash by. Real urgency then results in dying into the heart once again. Boom. A kind of pseudo-urgency is the anxiety of postponement.
So easy to see when one's being fooled.
So the bell tolls for thee.
What does one do with the desire for recognition from the teacher?
That's a good start. Well, if you like, you go to Lucknow and you sit and you watch that very thing, it's unbelievable what people will do. Almost anything at all. So what did you have in mind?
Something really dramatic. No.
Huh?
Something really dramatic.
Yeah.
No. Just how to hold that, because I mean, not just with you, but, I see it in myself and in others and with other spiritual teachers, there's a kind of a movement towards wanting that, and then sometimes a disappointment when it doesn't come in a form that I want or I see. And so just kind of had to hold all of that.
Well, here and now, what recognition for you?
What recognition do I want?
Yeah. I certainly recognize your own true self as being my own true self.
That's good.
And I have such love for you.
Okay, I'm done. I mean, I did want that, and that feels really, really wonderful to receive.
It's really great to ask for what you want.
I also want to be okay if I don't see it coming, from you or from Catherine or, what I mean? I want to have it so here that...
Yes, have it come from your own self to your own self. So it's not a question of Catherine or this character or anybody else at all. That's what I'm speaking about, really being unconditionally loving to one's own self. Not loving when things are going just right, but really bringing love in the really darkest times, that unconditional love. Where we're so used to adding brutality and mercilessness, then replace that brutality and mercilessness with your own infinite, unconditional love. Really.
And that, I mean, the only way that I can experience that is that is coming from the place of where there's just the ease of being.
Okay.
That's just the prevalent kind of ongoing stream, and then whatever comes up is just arising and dissolving, right?
That's right.
And that's enough.
But how about at times of dis-ease and turmoil, storm times, dark night of the soul times? What about then? When the heart really cries out for this unconditional love.
But which heart is it that's crying out?
It's your own self, the heart of your own being. You. You, the infinite, vast expanse of emptiness, and you, faith, this beautiful individual. Same.
That's really beautiful, because I have really been holding it like if there's, this pain, that it's a personal kind of I story. And even though I'm gentle towards that hasn't, that's been a split between the two hearts. So.
You're beautiful. The split is of the mind only. It's a make-believe wall. Emily, yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Faith.
Hi, Hanuman. Would you speak a little bit about pain versus suffering in the body? I've been having a lot of physical discomfort, and it's increased, intensified. And I'm pretty good at going with it like a wave, riding it. But as the increase has come, then I'm noticing that I'm feeling separate and alone with it. So I just need some help.
So you're saying when the pain, the physical pain increases, you're feeling?
It's like a grasping for it, a resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a separateness that comes with that, rather than being with it or the accepting of it.
You know, it's really hard to accept physical pain. You know, far easier said than done. You know, really physical pain calls out for some attention. The dilemma, and I can speak this way also in terms of the distinction that is often spoken of regarding pain and suffering, is that to pain, we often bring such a merciless, closed-hearted, uncompassionate story of judgment and derision. Never said the word derision, is that right? Derision? I don't know what that's. Derision. Rather than, and that adding on to the pain of that story is referred to as the suffering, the sensations of pain alone, pain accompanied with the story, suffering, on top of pain, insult to injury, you can say. That's the habit. So it's very helpful to see when there is illness, pain, the habitual nature of the judging mind to come into play. Listen to that story as if it's really true. The opportunity is to let the familiar arising judgments remind you of the heartful invitation for compassion and love, forgiveness, some warmth to yourself.
The story has been that if I stay in this suffering while I'm here, that that I'll get kicked out of here, and then nobody will take me to the airport.
Wow, that's
so
a good one.
Then I'm looking in my address book and going, oh yeah.
Wait, I'm not hearing. Say again.
I was saying that the story has gone to the next level, which is not only will I get kicked out of here, but I won't get a ride to the airport. So I have to find a friend to come and pick me up. And that there's this, and I'm tracking with what you're saying about this, the habituation of that.
Yeah.
When the first day that I was here, the pain was all gone. And then it's come back with intensity. And so there was this sort of idea that it was all finished.
That's so disappointing when that happens. Yeah. Okay, so welcome back, pain. Here you are again. Fooled me. Okay, so now I'm not going to welcome you with the story of my unworthiness. I'll welcome you as best I can with some compassion, some love. You're crawling out from my attention, so I will give it to you. But really loving, kind, open, spacious attention, not cruel, closed-hearted, mean-spirited.
Thank you.
So, but you could see how diabolical the mind is. I'm going to get thrown out, and I understand. I always think I'm going to get thrown out too. So I know what you mean. I do.
Thank you.
And I've been thrown out. It's not like I've never been thrown out. So, but if there's anything that I could do for you in the next few days, just, if you're feeling alone and the body's hurting, you want to spend a little time, definitely send word and we could hang out with the pain together for a little bit. Definitely. Okay?
Hanuman? To continue with the mind falling into the heart, I would just love to hear you talk more about that. It's any idea of separation, simply dissolving.
Any idea, period. We are so preoccupied with our thinking and being in satsang, being quiet, is ceasing the preoccupation with the thinking, and rather coming back into the very quiet in which the thinking is displaying. Essentially, finally, what's always only pointed to in satsang is the background silence, that which my master refers to as the substratum or the source, sometimes spoken of as emptiness, consciousness, or Buddha nature. And it's just simply coming back into witness consciousness at rest, not like a witness consciousness of like labeling, noting, or doing something. There's no task involved. For as is revealed, our true nature is this witness consciousness. It's already always. It's seemingly obscured. It's a kind of, again, a paradox of, it's like the sun is seemingly obscured by the dense cloud cover. But it's the very light of the sun itself that reveals the dense cloud cover that seems to be obscuring. Nothing's being obscured at all. The light of awareness is ever present. It's like that. So coming back to rest, at ease. And what also is revealed, the deeper, so to speak, one rests in the heart, one realizes that the very nature of this is love itself, the deep love. This is the heart of the matter. What is this love? Who's to say? Really, it is a mystery, for ultimately the mind doesn't penetrate there. And so to speak, into quiet. So, but isn't it amazing how we care so much about what we think? And even more clear, we care what other people think. Gee.
The mind just wants to be front and center all the time.
Yeah. One cares what other people think about what we think. I'm just suggesting putting all that down, the caring about what other people think, and putting down the care about what we think. And let thinking happen of itself. You see, that's really the natural state. It's not like thoughts no longer arise. But when you're sitting quietly, just thoughts arising and going. There may be a little bit of following for a moment, and then just naturally, not even with intentionality, it just gone, disappears. Like that. Then the heartfulness is just open-heartedness. The chronic defensiveness, that ever readiness to defend against some hurt. It's relaxed because there is the understanding and the recognition that the one who is being defended doesn't exist. That which is defending doesn't exist. No need now for life to be about protecting and securing and enhancing and comforting this imagined one we've taken ourselves to be for so long. We can simply just be our own natural self at ease. This takes a kind of continue returning, so to speak, to the bigger view, or to the throne of witness consciousness, or what is Faith Catherine refers to it as Catherine, you were saying earlier, the seat of sitting on the mountaintop. It's spoken of many different ways. The view is less familiar than the view of the apparent, separate, seeking, suffering individual self. So it's why it's such a great opportunity to take some time out to keep returning to the view, becoming more familiar with. So it seems effortful in the beginning, and then lo and behold, you see it's all happening of itself. Yes.
I can also see where the mind has made a separation between witness consciousness and the heart and substrate and silence, where there is no.
That's right. I mean, in reality, there's no distinction at all between anything. It's just this totality that is all-inclusive. It's not like there's something outside of it. For if it's recognized outside, it's all then recognized as part of the totality as well. But that's what the mind does. It makes distinctions. Some of those distinctions are at times useful, but they're ultimately not true.
Thank you.
What you're talking about seems to be what I'm struggling with now. I believe that I hit these quiet spaces, and it's possible I may be fooling myself, and I can be there, and it's quiet. But there's nothing intrinsically compelling about the space. In other words, so it's very easy to get pulled off by thought. In other words, when you talk about, the positive doesn't hit me.
The desire for peace compels. The fed upness with need the suffering compels. The heart itself actually thin.
See, the trick is a lot of times I get to places that are, I wouldn't say they're great, but like they're okay.
So I can tell you, let me just interrupt. I can tell you with really doubtless certainty that you don't go anywhere at all. And that's just in the imagination.
Right.
That you are forever remaining perfectly still and unmoving, pure consciousness alone. And that's the truth. And different states come and go. Absolutely. The constant, almost constant flow of ever-changing states, mental states, emotional states, spiritual states, physical states. That's this passing panorama. But you, consciousness, is perfectly still and unmoving.
I have a sense of that. I was, one of the Ramana Maharshi books, he talks about a meditation of like where you look and you focus on that which sees, not. And I've been playing with that, and I sort of see that something's always there, no matter what the hell's going on.
The seer itself, and the scene itself is changing,
Right.
and the seer itself remains. These were the very words that Ramana Maharshi spoke to my master. I tell this story from time to time. Can I tell it again? Then my master tells the story of that moment for him of great awakening, if you will, when he was at Ramana Ashram, and my master was a Krishna devotee. He was absolutely in love with Krishna. Krishna was everything to him. And Krishna would come to him. He would see Krishna like, you're seeing me, I'm seeing you now. And this particular day, he was playing with Krishna somewhere on the, maybe it was on the mountain. And, on Arunachala. And sometime later in the day, the master encounters Ramana, encounter one another, and Ramana asks, how have you spent the day? And my master says, playing with Lord Krishna. And Ramana says, well, where is your Lord Krishna now? And my master says, he is gone, I no longer see him. And Ramana says, don't spend your time tending to that which comes and goes. See that the sight has gone and the seer alone remains. The seer alone remains. And you are that.
The problem is...
Did I get that story right? Pretty right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, it's more interesting than the one in the book.
Okay.
You got the essence of it real nice.
The point is made. The essence.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, that's the important thing. Okay.
I understand it, but I haven't got it. In other words, I haven't got the experiential I am that which...
So the possibility of getting it lies in the investigation of who it is that's not getting it. And looking and seeing that one doesn't exist. And now, to see that. That's the practicality of these teachings. So that which is pointed to, the inquiry, look and see. And then the task then is to look and see.
Whenever I do that, it's apparent that it's just thoughts that are coming and going.
And their coming and going, and there's awareness of their coming and going. And that the coming and going, there's coming and there's going, and awareness remains.
But how do
yes.
I understand that, but how do I identify or become or know that I am that awareness? Because I can see it. No matter what goes on, I am aware.
I am awareness itself.
Yes.
See, there isn't this me who is aware. That's not like there's me who has awareness. This me is awareness. I am awareness itself. There's no other me there to be found. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I get this. Just a thought appearing. I'm not sure. And awareness. It goes. Awareness remains. Oh yeah, that's it. Another thought. Awareness remains.
It's like any thought leads me off.
Leads who off? That's just a thought. Any thought leads me off. God, boom. There I am. Awareness.
Huh.
Yeah?
Well, mine says almost.
Almost. Boom. It's so simple.
Yeah, the mind is utterly addicted to seeking.
The mind is utterly addicted to seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thought too, God. Boom. Here I am. Yes. What's left?
What's left?
Yeah, it's like this close, but
Well, I need to
what's in the way?
puff that away too.
It doesn't. You don't have to do it. It goes by itself.
So I don't have to do anything. That's
You know, in the New Age movement, they speak a lot of the moment. You know that, the nounness, and right now in the moment, there's stillness and there's silence, and somehow, this comes, and the mind comes in and says, but this doesn't last. So somehow the moment's not claimed, not claiming the moment that this moment there's silence, or this moment there's stillness. And it never really, just getting it, that somehow it never gets really rooted because we're always saying this is not going to last. Or I have to give it a test. I have to wait for a while to see if it disappears. If it disappears, then it must not be real. And my feeling is the moment is the only real thing. And so if it's here now, it's here. It's the truth. And then
When is it not?
when it's not,
When is the moment not here now? That's actually a good question.
well,
When
you
is
ask
the moment not? Yeah, no, I'm really asking. When is the moment not here now?
Well, it's always here.
Yeah, period.
Period. Yeah.
It's always this eternal now. It's never other than this eternal now.
My feeling is
It doesn't matter. It's only this eternal now, regardless of this feeling or that feeling, or regardless of what the numbers on the clock say, for they always say here and now. The feelings have nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's just this eternal now. It's a fact of the matter. Nothing to do with belief or it sounds good. There is only this eternal now. What seems to obscure that simple recognition are thoughts of past and future. But in fact, it doesn't obscure anything at all. Thoughts of past and future are displaying in this eternal now. And stillness doesn't go anyplace.
You know, what Ken was just mentioning when he started out was that, I mean, I feel the space right now, the silence, and, you know, I'm talking now, so thoughts are coming, but then there's no thoughts. But it's not really an exciting place. It just is. It's just the way things are.
It's just the way things are.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's excitation. Sometimes there's excruciating boredom. Sometimes there's this, and sometimes there's that. All of it, the totality of it. Comes and goes. Every emotional state, mental state, spiritual state, physical state. Arising, appearing, disappearing. It's not in time. There's no beginning to it, an end to it. It's not an it. It's not an object. It's prior to, it's outside of time itself. Eternal, timeless, without time. It's not a feeling to cling on to for dear life. I mean, it's really an absolute money-back guarantee that any feeling is going to go. The most exquisite and pleasurable sensations come and go. The most pleasant samadhi comes to an end. It's really true. It's beyond anything. and here. Beyond and here. Same thing.
I'm happy we speak about this because I can understand what Ken is saying because sometimes being in bliss and sometimes it means nothing. It just means being, which is not necessarily so exciting. And I find it sometimes a little tricky because you get immediately the thought comes up, well, then this is probably not it because this is really boring, or this is really dull, or and so this is kind of, I feel sometimes tricky because there keeps on being these ideas of how it should be when you are.
When you are.
Or when you are not.
When you are or when you're not what?
When you are. There's some ideas about when there's silence.
Okay. And when is there not silence?
There's always silence, but I'm talking about when you're really aware of it. Or when there's awareness of it.
I tell you that you are already that always. There's no separate you who's always aware of it. You are it. You are that. The thought comes in, no, I'm not that because there's this particular feeling displaying right now. And then the possibility of inquiry arising. Who am I referring to? That now is not it and before was it. To whom is this suffering arising? To whom is this confusion arising? Possible to look and see. Nobody at all. Well, if I really got it, I'd be abiding in this who? Who? The individual? The imagined one? The one who appears to be separate but is realized not to be at all? So, continue seeking evidence until you get really sick of it. Just keep letting go. It's like in that story yesterday. It was the inclination to be the Lord Maitreya, radiating peace and love throughout the world. And that would be great evidence. Oh boy, I'm something now. I'm really somebody now. It's simply better to let go.
It just seems to be realization at times and at other times not.
And what is the realization?
that are not my thoughts.
Okay. What is the not realization?
Well, the not realization is not, I'm not even realizing that I'm caught in it. I'm not realizing anything.
Okay.
Really.
And what's the problem?
What's the problem?
Mm-hmm. So, well, who said faith? Was it you when you were asking me my and such and such? You said, no, I'm talking to you now. What was that? What was that comment? Do you remember that yesterday? No, it wasn't you. Who was that? Who? Gene, you point. Uh-oh. Maybe that's right. Yeah. I was trying to remember what I said. I thought you could help me, but no. It's like, I just have to tell you, it gets very normal and regular. It's not like you have to walk around with some burden of anything. You're now free of any burden, seeing that it's all happening of itself. It's all being taken care of by some mysterious power unseen. So I mean, if you see it, it's all happening of itself and there's no individual, separate, personal doer. And it's all happening. How is it all happening? What a mystery. Who is lifting this hand? I don't know. That's the truth. Who's speaking these words? I don't know. The hand lifts and the words are spoken. Wow. What burden need be carried? Free of that burden. It's all happening of itself. My God, it's so amazing. It's so awesome. The one I took myself to be doesn't exist now or ever. That's the same. Thank you for Satsang.